Thank you, Randy. Yeah, it's been an interesting month to say the least. And of course, as we all, no matter what side of the political arena you're on, we're all glad that that circus is over. So we can get back to just looking at ads about stores and Christmas and stuff instead of political stuff. So it's all good. And it's interesting because a lot of things have happened real estate wise, as you probably already know, because you followed my updates in the past. As of August 17th, there's a whole new system now as far as how much the is charged for a fee and this type of thing. So it's all negotiable. But the way that works, just to give you a quick heads up, a Reader's Digest version, if you will, and for you young people, that's a very small amount of things. The reason that what they've done is they split things apart for fees. The buyer has a fee and the seller has a fee. In the past, the seller, it was charged to the seller on both sides. So if it was a 5% commission or a 6%, that covered both the buyer and the seller agent's fees. Nowadays, the buyer has to do their own fee, but they also ask the seller to contribute to that. So the seller ends up, in most cases, paying both sides anyway, because they want the realtors to bring clients to their house to look at. So it really hasn't changed except in the way things are done. So don't get confused and panic and all of that. So, for example, if you had a $600,000 home and a 3% or a 6% commission in the old days, you would pay three, and then the buyer's side would ask you to help them pay their 3%. Okay, let's talk Lane County. There are 1,600 real estate agents in Lane County, and 400 of them have sold one house or less. So as you can see, many of the real estate agents that got in thinking it was an easy scenario, it turned out it was not. It's a pretty difficult thing. It's not just putting a sign out there and hoping that it sells. There's a lot more to it. We won't go into that. We're going to talk about what is good for you, and that is the interest rates have slipped down a little bit, and we do expect it to go down another 1/4% before the first of the year. Knock on wood. We never know, but that's what the projection is. Obviously, that'll make a big difference. For example, let's say that you have a loan of $500,000. 1% difference on that, that's a lot of money per month. So it's a good time. It's beneficial for both buyer and seller, by the way, because the buyers will get a reduced uh, cost for purchasing, and the sellers have a better chance of getting more buyers to come out of the woodwork and look at their home. So it's a win-win. So obviously, we want it to go down as much as possible. As you probably have heard me in the past, we are still just in the 30-year average. So if you talk to your parents and grandparents, you'll find out that they paid 6% and much higher in the old days. So the fact that we're now in the upper 6% range, which is about where we're at right now, about a 6.75. And right now, it's still in the average of the 30 years. So it's not abnormal. Now, right now, it's in mid-November. We're right at mid-November, but we're going to talk about October. Remember, we get all the information about a week into November. So everything I'm talking about is from October, comparing October to either a year ago or October to comparing it to September. So we'll just go from there. I'll talk now about where we're at as far as prices, and we'll also talk about listings and so on. The median price right now has not changed much, and it hasn't changed for about 3 months. Right now in Lane County, we're still at $435,000 median price range here in Lane County. Now we've seen homes now that have reached the $350,000 range, which is great for the beginning buyers. But the majority of the market has not been with the first time home buyers because, to be quite honest, Lane County's prices are pretty difficult for first time home buyer, but it's getting better. The amount of time on the market right now is about right around 2 months. In other words, it takes about 2 months from the time goes onto the market till the time that it sells. And so that has been holding steady for the last few months. There was a time a couple of years ago when it was like 15 days. That was crazy buying. And I want to talk about that today too. Back when it was so crazy, people were overbuying on homes. They were over purchasing. They were out trying to outbid each other to get into a home because that's the frenzy of the market. The problem is you're overpaying for a house. Now you are not overpaying. You don't have nearly the amount of people that are bidding on the same house. That's a good thing because, again, we don't want to be overbidding on a home. So things are pretty much normal now as far as buyer seller coming to some type of an agreement for the price of the appraisal. Remember, the appraisal has to be in the area that you're paying. For example, if you put an offer on a $400,000 home and the appraisal came back at 375, you have a problem. So we want this to be legitimate and normal. The people that are getting hurt are the ones that recently purchased and then they have to sell because they don't have enough equity to cover the cost of selling and moving on to a different area. Saying this, if you're a buyer and you are going to be here for, oh, I'd say 3 years or more, buy. This is a great time to buy, and I'll tell you why in a second. If you're only going to be here a couple of years, don't buy, rent, because the cost of buying and selling will wipe out all of your equity and you may end up upside down. Now, why is this a good time to buy? Well, it's a good time to buy because keep in mind, if the interest rate goes down much, what does that, how does that affect people? Well, there'll be more people wanting to purchase. More people wanting to purchase. What do you suppose happens to the price of homes? The more the demand, the higher the price. Right now, we are at a good spot where people are pretty solid with where the prices are and the interest rate is decent. This is the time, in my opinion, that you try to purchase and fulfill those dreams. So, saying all of that, I think that the future of the market is very strong. We still have a shortage of homes, if you can believe that, here in Lane County. I can't speak to the rest of the country, but here in Lane County, we don't have enough construction that is happening right now to fulfill all of our needs. So, saying that, I expect the prices to inch up, not downward. So that's my prediction. Right now, if you have any questions, you're always able. This doesn't cost you anything. Just give me a holler. Gary Raze at Remax Integrity. My number is 541-554-5825. So if you have any questions, just give me a holler and I'll give you all the knowledge I have. All right. Till next time, you take care. Bye-bye.